Hey guys, today we're going to do 8.5 notes, and it's going to be a little different, obviously, because I'm not there, and I'm 100% sure the sound's not going to work, and you're just going to watch this, and none of you are going to pay attention. But we're going to go through 8.5 notes today. We're going to continue this all next week, and this will basically take us up for the next 2 weeks doing the same exact thing. So make sure that we're taking great notes today, because I'm going to have you get them out on Tuesday, and we're probably going to quiz on this on block day. So make sure that you have all of these, you have your notes out, ready to write, paying attention, and so forth. So, problem number one, factoring. This is the stuff I've been talking about. This is the stuff that you have to know. Okay, you have to know when you get to Algebra 2 and Algebra 3 and college algebra and all that stuff, they expect you to walk in. So making sure that we're really good at factoring. Okay, so problem one, what is the factored form of x squared plus 8 plus 15? So, just like we did with multiplication, okay, when we had stuff that looked like this, and you had your two parentheses, and then we multiplied it, and we drew the box and all that stuff, this was our final answer, correct? So now we're just going from this into this form. So, when we have this, okay, let me clean all this up here. When we have this, let me get a fun color. How about light blue? No, that's boring. How about blue? So what we want to do is we want to take our first term, x squared, times our last term, which is 15. Okay, so 15 times x squared gives me 15x squared. Okay, now I do that over to the side because I'm going to need room for later. So 15x squared. Now once we get this, I need to list all of the factors that give me 15. So those factors are 1 and 15. 2 doesn't go into 15, right? 3 and 5. Okay. So now that I have all my factors, I want to look at which of these pairs. So here's pair 1 and here's pair 2. Okay. What pair is going to add up to give me 8? Okay. So when I look at this, well, 1 plus 15 gives me 16, and 3 plus 5 gives me 8. So I want to use this pair of factors. Okay? So now we draw our box. Just like we did with multiplying, everything is done in our box. Okay? What's different is how we fill it out. So my first term, x squared, first term is going to go in the first box. Okay? First term, first box. Last term, last box. Okay? First and first, last and last. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay? Now these two, 3x and 5x, go in the other two boxes. So we have 3x here and 5x here. Now, it does not matter which one of these goes in either one. You could have flipped your 3 and 5. Okay, we will get the exact same thing. It does not make a difference. Also, notice, I kind of breezed over this. I put x's behind them because this is 15x squared. So both of these will have an x. So 3x times 5x is 15x squared. The most common mistake is people will leave these x's off, just like I did. Okay, so it's very, very common. So now, once we have our box filled out, now I need to pull stuff out of it. So I look at my top row, these two things right here, my top row, my x squared and my 3x, and I ask myself, what do those two things have in common? Okay. Well, this has a 3, but this doesn't have a 3, so there's no 3. But they both have an x in them, so I'm going to pull out my x. See how I put it out right here. They're all on the same line. Okay. So now I go up here and I think, what number times x is going to give me x squared? Well, that's just going to be x. X times x is x squared. What number times x gives me 3x? Well, that's just 3. What number times x gives me 5x? 5. So it's just like we just did with the box. Everything's still, we're just doing it in backwards order. Now, there's a built-in check this way. Is 5 times 3 15? Sure is. So my final answer is x plus 3 parentheses, parentheses, x plus 5, parentheses. Okay, so that is my final answer. So once again, it's the exact same thing that we've been doing, it's just in the other direction. Right now, I'm giving you this. Okay, so on the test that you took yesterday, I gave you this, and you had to give me this final answer. Now, I'm giving you the final answer and asking you guys to give me the factored form. Okay? So, let's go through and let's look at number 1. Erase all that fun stuff. Put this back. Okay. So, number 1. What is the factored form of r squared plus 11r plus 24? So I take first times last. Always going to take first times last. So I have 24r squared. So now I think of what are the factors of 24? Well, 1 and 24, 2 and 12, 3 and 8, 4 and 6. And guys, if you can't come up with every single one of these together, use your calculator. Sit there and plug in 24 divided by 2 equals this. 24 divided by 3 equals this. 24 divided by 4 equals this. Okay? So now, once I have my list of factors, I'm looking for which two are going to add up to 11. Well, 1 and 24 doesn't. 2 plus 12 is 14. That doesn't work. 3 plus 8 is 11. So I want to use 3r and 8r. Okay? So now, I draw my box. Let's get my box. It's going to look real gross. I'm sorry. Right over here. Okay. First term, first box. Last term, last box. And then I put 3r in the first and 8r in the second. Now, once I've done here, once again, now guys, it doesn't matter where you start. So I always like to start with these two, the top two. But you could start with, and so this is where that number goes right there. You could also start with the first column or the second column or the bottom row, whatever works best for you. So I look at r squared and 3r. What do these two have in common? Well, they both have an r, right? So now, what number times r is going to give me r squared? Well, that's going to be another r. So r and r are going to both meet here. What number times r is 3r? Well, that's going to be a 3. What number times r is 8r? Well, that's an 8. Is 3 times 8 24? Sure is. So my final answer is r plus 3, r plus 8. Get an old dragon. There we go. Okay? So r plus 3, r plus 8. Okay? Make sure you have all this written down. And once again, guys, this is the process we're going to use for every single one of these. That's why doing everything in the box was so important. It's just a great way to solve this. Okay? So make sure you have all that written down. Let's erase. We'll do this. Okay. So now, okay. What is the factored form of x squared and 24? Okay, so once again, just like we did. So we had 24. What in the world is going on now? My mouse is being a little jumpy. Okay. So that's a 24. I apologize if you can't see that. So we have 1 and 24. We had 2 and 12. We have 3 and 8. And we have 4 and 6. Now, the difference between this one and the previous ones is, look, 11 is going to be negative. Okay? But let's think about this. 1 plus 24, well, that's 25. 2 plus 12, that's 14. 3 plus 8 is 11, but I want negative 11. So how am I going to turn this into a negative 11? Well, I make both of these negative. Okay? And let's check and see if that still works. Is negative 3 plus negative 8 negative 11? It sure is. Is negative 3 times negative 8 positive 24? It sure is. So now I draw my box. Okay. First term goes in your first box. Last term goes in your last box. Okay. And now we have negative 3x. And we have negative 8x. Okay? So now once my box is filled in, once again, it's just backwards of everything that we've done. So I look at my top row, my x squared and my negative 3x, and what do they have in common? Well, they both have an x, right? They both share an x, so I can pull an x out. What times x is x squared? Well, that's just going to be x. What times x is negative 3x? Negative 3. What times x is negative 8x? Negative 8. Okay? Check. Make sure your answer is right. Is negative 8 times negative 3 positive 24? It sure is. So my final answer, once again, can't leave it in the box, have to write it out. X minus 3. Oh my lord, what in the world is this mouse doing? X minus 8. Okay? So, by the way, that is embarrassing. I'm very sorry, but, you know, it is what it is. So, x minus 3, x minus 8. Okay? I want you guys to try the next one. So, pause the video. Pause here. Okay? And I want you guys to try this one on your own. Try this one on your own. Okay. So you should have got this one. You should have got a final answer of, holy moly, what did I just do? Okay. You should have got a final answer of x minus 4. Why aren't you working, mouse? X minus 4 and x minus 2. Okay. So that should have been your answer for number 2. Oh, not, they're y's, I'm sorry. That should be a y. That should be a y. I'm sorry. Okay, but y minus 4, y minus 2. Okay. Now, on problem 3, once again, it's going to be the same exact thing. Okay, we're not doing anything crazy different. Everything's just the same process over and over again, except this time we have x, and then I have a negative 15. So this is going to give me negative 15 x squared. Okay? So now I need to find the factors that give me 15. Well, 1 and 15, right? And then 3 and 5. Okay? And this time I'm looking for 2. Well, once again, 1 plus 15 is going to give me 16, so that's not right. 3 plus 5 is going to give me 8. Well, that's not right. But this is the point you got to remember. This is a negative 15. So, one of our numbers has to be negative. And in order for this to be a 2, 3 has to be negative. Because, guys, what's negative 3 plus 5? Well, that is positive 2. Okay? And then negative 3 times 5 is negative 15. So this all works. Okay? Once again, I made this a negative. I made the 3 negative because it has to be a negative 15. So negative 3 times 5, and then negative 3 plus 5 gives me my 2. So now when I draw my box, okay, my first term goes in the first box. My last term goes in the last box. Go over, there we go. And then my negative 3x, and then 5x. Okay. So now we look and we see what do the top two have in common. Well, x squared and negative 3x both have an x in them. X times x is x squared. Negative 3 times x is negative 3x. And 5 times x is 5x. Does it work? Is 5 times negative 3 negative 15? Check it. Okay. So I write my final answer. We have x minus 3. What in the world is that? There we go. Okay, x plus, my mouse is breaking as we speak, 5. Okay, so I have x minus 3, x plus 5. So I want you guys to try 3a. Once you're done with 3a, you're going to get your worksheet, okay? And once again, your worksheet has 12 of these on there. So make sure you're using your notes. Do your best. I will answer questions on Tuesday. Once again, if you're sitting there like, what in the world was he just doing? It's okay. We're going to spend 2 weeks doing this. Okay? So make sure you try your best. Do what you can. Ask questions. Get help from people around you if you're confused. Okay? I will leave the key on my desk so that way you can come up and you can check your answers and you can make sure you're on the right track. Okay? So I hope you guys follow that out. I will see you Tuesday and have a great long weekend and no school on Monday.